Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Analysts Podcast. I don't know why I'm doing that accent, but as you can see, Jessa is dressed up for the occasion. I mean, come on, show it off, Jess.
It is as soft as it looks, and I'll definitely be wearing this on multiple game days. Maybe
Let's
every away
go.
game. This is what I'll sport because I was talking to AJ, and the Portland State game just got a lot more interesting now that we know that it's bear time. So I will be living on bear time for the rest of the season, and that is the reason for this $19 Amazon purchase.
Yep. For those of you who are listening and not watching, which I don't think anybody is because we're only on YouTube right
Yeah,
now.
true.
Also, what are you doing? Just watch. But Jessa's wearing a full bear outfit. It is amazing, fantastic, very timely. And we will get into that very shortly. But first, Jessa, I have a hot take. I have a hot take for you today.
I'm so ready for this.
My hot take: sell, sell, sell all your Oregon stock. Okay? I know what you're thinking. Wait, but Jared, Oregon went like 14 and 0 or whatever last year. They went 13 and 0. They were the number 1 seed. They were clearly the best team in college football until the game was over, like 10 minutes into the Rose Bowl. But that is exactly my point. Okay? First off, why should we trust Oregon? Let's be honest. What have we seen from them? They won the Pac 12. Whoop-de-doo. They beat Washington like they beat no. Did they lose to Washington? They lost to
They
Washington. They
lost to
lost to
Washington
Washington twice.
because they didn't make
Okay?
the playoff that year. Washington
Yes.
went instead of them. That was like the first playoff game, but it wasn't a playoff game. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So they lost twice to Washington. They didn't win the Pac-12, okay? What do? They go to the Big Ten. And yes, they won the Big Ten. But let's take a look at their schedule last year, okay? Just
Oh, yeah.
everybody stay with me, okay? Do you remember week 1 when everyone had to all of a sudden turn on like Sky Sports or whatever because Idaho was within a field goal of Oregon in the fourth quarter? Does you
Yes.
remember that? Yes. They only won that game by 10. Idaho. Idaho's not very good, even in the FCS, and they were within 10 points. Next week, they beat Boise State on like a late game winning field goal. Okay, obviously Boise State was really good that year, but that game was in Autzen Stadium. Okay, then they rattle off wins against a bunch of nobodies. Okay, Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State, all bad teams.
Yeah.
Then they beat Ohio State, okay? As an Ohio State fan, I'll be the first to tell you that was an Ohio State loss. That was not an Oregon win, okay?
Yeah.
Oregon did all of the like nonsense mumbo jumbo BS to win that game that you could ever imagine. Okay? Do you remember the onside kick that they just belted at the first guy on our line and it just
Yes.
bounced off his chest and then they got it and went down and scored? Okay? That was just lucky as frick. Ohio State's like defensive backs just like took the game off. Like Igbinosun got burned or Denzel Burke got burned every single play. Uh, Not exactly atypical, but it wasn't exactly like a sustainable way to win the game. And then Ohio State should have won at the end. There was the BS when they put 12 guys on the field, and then the BS PI call on Jeremiah Smith, which was absolutely a stupid no call. And then Will Howard, like brain fart in the last 10 seconds. Like, Ohio State should have won that game. And if Ohio State wins that game, then it's a very different set of tiebreakers at the end of the year. Oregon may not even go to the Big Ten championship game where they beat Penn State by a touchdown because Penn State couldn't guard a slant. So, like, it's not that they were doing all these incredible things or beating all these great teams. They were just kind of like luck boxing their way to wins. And then they lost to Ohio State in the first 8 minutes of the Rose Bowl because it all came back to bite them. They don't have a veteran quarterback anymore. They lost like 12 guys to the NFL draft, and now they have a like a redshirt sophomore, Dante Moore, that's playing quarterback. He's played like 5 games in his career. I don't know. I'm selling all the Oregon stock. You're gonna have to convince me why I should believe in them.
I won't. I'm gonna actually pile on your take.
Yes.
So we are how many days from their first game? Less than 14, right?
Yes, like 10
We're
days
like
right
10
now.
days from their first game. Um, Dante Moore was the predicted starter. He hasn't won the job yet. He's he's still in a neck and neck battle with Austin Novosad, who I don't know who that is. Um, but here, do you want to hear Dante Moore's? The last time he started, he was a starting quarterback for UCLA. Here are his
Yep.
stats. All right. 53.5% completion percentage. He threw for 1,600 yards. I need to figure out how many games that is. But he guess how many touchdowns and interceptions? He had 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Oh,
Um,
some Devin Dampier numbers.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't know how many games that's from. I don't know if that's a full season, but he was the starter at UCLA, and that's what he put out there. So I would agree that they've lost so much production. So that's already an unknown, right? Yes, Dan Lanning can recruit, but I would say that Oregon team last year was 3 or 4 years in the making. Like that,
Yes.
you were building to that. Yeah, you had Dylan Gabriel, who was a good quarterback, a 6 year.
Good college quarterback. Yep.
Yes. Um, and I think he carried a lot of that offense. So you lose him, and the fact that Dante Moore hasn't won the QB battle yet, what is he looking
Not
like in
good.
camp? Like, they have to take a dip this year. So I'm with you. I'm selling all the stock because there's so much unknown.
Yep. So much unknown. Like, and let's be honest, like, Dan Lanning hasn't proved that he can win with young players. In 2023 and 2024, all that winning came with all these veteran transfers like Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel, like you said, and now all their playmakers are gone. We'll have to see. I did look up Dante Moore. He did play in 9 games.
Okay, so it's
And
over
so
nine
that's not
games.
like yeah, it's not like he played 4 or 5 games. No, that was 9 games.
That's less
Uh,
than 200 yards passing a game.
yes. Yep. And he threw for less than 200 in one, two, three, four, five. 5 of his 9 games, he threw for less than 200 yards. So,
Okay, interesting.
yeah. So we're selling all the stock on Oregon.
The last
But
thing I'll say, the sucky
yes,
thing is they don't play Ohio State and they don't play Michigan this year. And
yep,
Michigan, like, is not. I think they're another 8 win. They're gonna have another 8, 7, like 8 win season. But
yeah,
still, they play at Penn State and they get Indiana at home. Those are their two toughest games.
yep.
So
And then
they
I would
could
say
go 10-2, and
they do go to Iowa and to Washington as well, which obviously those two teams weren't that good last year. But if we do think Oregon's going to take a step back, those two games being on the road is not exactly what you want. You want those games at home.
yeah, those are not guaranteed wins by any mean. Yeah,
Right, right. But regardless, you got Penn State, Indiana, Iowa, Washington, 4 questionable games. Even if they do go 10-2, like you said, and make the playoff, I'm still selling the stock that they're a top 10 team, that they're going to compete for a national championship. They're not. They're not. I'm out
no,
on Oregon.
nope. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish with 4 or 5 losses. Um, Interesting game. Oklahoma State goes to their house September 6th.
Ooh.
That will be an interesting game. Is Oklahoma State on the up and up after last year? And Oregon is on the down? I don't know. That'll be September 6th at 1:30.
I think that will be a very, very telling game. That's definitely going to be one that I'm going to have my eyes on because I think everybody in college football media is going to say it's going to be a blowout for Oregon. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know
We'll
either.
have to see.
We'll see.
Um, but anyway, Jessa, we got to get into the biggest topic that everybody's talking about. It's bear time. Cocaine bear, the days of 47, whatever the frick you want to say. Number 47 is our quarterback. First time anybody has ever said that in the history of the American football sport. Um, Jessa, let's talk about like what we need to see from him because obviously he's a true freshman. Has never played a snap of college football in an actual game. He's the first time a true freshman is starting game one for BYU ever. So let's set some rational expectations. I know
Yeah.
it's very hard for us. We're very irrational people, but let's try to set like you've written here a bare minimum.
Yes. I have to remind myself, like, he is not going to be 2020 Zach Wilson. Like, he's just not going to be that 65% completion, 30 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Like, that's just not going, like you said, he's going to play like a true freshman. And I'm along for the ride. The first thing I'll say is that prior to him being announced the starter, I was in the camp of let's see bubble screens, let's see checkdowns, let's see, you know what I'm saying? Play
Make it easy
action,
for him. Yeah.
right? Yeah. I'm now after hearing after he it was announced that he's QB1 and getting on sports analysts and hearing you guys be like, "No, let's just I want him to let loose in backyard football." I'm all on that camp. So that being said, I do want to see some things from him, and this is like my measure of success for him. There's a few things.
Yes.
First one, over the course of the season, 2-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio. So that
Okay.
could be 20 and 10. That could be 30 and 15. That could be 30 and 17. Like it could be 20 and 11. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
just want him to be around 2-to-1. So if
Those are
he
reasonable.
yeah, if he throws an interception a game, I'm not gonna freak out. That's what I promised myself. He throws two, then I'm gonna get a little frustrated. But I'm going to give him the grace of an interception a game this year because I
Yeah.
want him. I want him to ball out.
I feel like that's some people, especially like A-Rod people, are gonna like kind of cringe at that. But I'm with you. Like I said on Sports Analyst, like I kind of want like a Jameis Winston mentality of like 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Like, I want him pushing the ball. I don't want anybody to be like, Bear, don't do that. Like, just throw the check down, take the easy yards. Like, I want to see what this guy can do. Let's go let him just ball the frick out and see what happens. If that means he's gonna go like 3-1 or 2-1 every game, like that's fine because I think the alternative to that is a quarterback that's gonna throw like 1-1 like like with the McKay and Trayson and everybody, like it feels like that's going to be super conservative and just low key. And so I think in order to take our offense to the next level, we need Bear to just go balls to the wall and just ball the frick out.
Yep. And it's gonna be so much more fun to watch. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And at this point, I just want the season to be fun. Beat Utah
Yes.
and let's have some fun, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And then three other things. 58% completion percentage. Um,
Yes.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
reasonable.
reasonable.
And that's what I'll be watching. Like, are we being efficient on offense? Is he completing about just over half of the throws that he attempts? I think it'd
Yeah.
be great.
If I remember correctly, that was about what Jake did last year, was kind of around that 58 to 60 number, which obviously isn't like ideal, but for a true freshman, I think that's very fair.
Yeah, I agree.
A-Rod in his presser did say like four times in a row, like, what do you like from Bear Bachmeier? He's like, well, he completes a lot of passes. He does this. He's got a lot of completions. He's probably like, he's just got a lot of, he completes his passes, a lot of completions. And I was like, we get it. Okay. He throws completions. So I expect at the very least 58% from Bear this year.
I could see him going like 2018 Zach Wilson 65%. Like I could totally see that. But this is bare minimum, right?
Yes.
Like I want
This is
him
the bare
around
minimum.
this number. I want him to rush for at least 25 yards a game. I want him to use his legs, scramble, like that puts him at around what Zach averaged over his career. So
Okay.
similar. I could see him rushing more, but I want him to use his legs in games.
I
And
think that's a
then
good bare minimum.
yeah, right? If he goes off for 50 a game, like I'm gonna be happy about it.
Please.
And then the last one actually isn't a quarterback stat. I want the
Mm.
O line to give up less than 17 sacks for the season. Like you're gonna talk about
Oh.
this, but diehard football fans watch the trenches. Like that's a little sneak peek for what you're gonna talk about. Um, I'm gonna be watching our O line this year. Like I want them to be
Yeah.
dominant, less than 17. We gave up 18 last year. 17 puts us in, based on last year, puts us in the top 25. And if you're gonna have a true freshman quarterback, I want that to be. I want to set up Bears for success. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
what I would say.
No, I think that's very reasonable. I mean, let's be honest. Jake last year took a lot of bad sacks. Like, he was not the greatest under pressure. Like, there were the sacks, there were the strip sacks, there were the off-platform
Fumbles.
interceptions. Yeah, fumbles. Like, if Bear can just either evade or like get the ball out quickly, and our O line give him that time. I mean, Kalani has said that they can start seven or eight of their O linemen, and heaven knows BYU is going to start at least eight over the course of the year with injuries. Very
Yep.
sore topic for a Falcons fan right now, but we don't need to get into that. Um, I like that. Let's be top 25 in sack avoidance, both on the O line, like you said, giving Bear time, and then also like I want some of those to be Bear scrambling or just like not seeing anything. He's a big dude. Go, scramble for 3 yards on 2nd and 7. Like, don't take a sack and make it 3rd and 14. Get back to the line of scrimmage and make it 3rd and 7 instead or something.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. So that's what I'll be tracking this year. But my bare minimum, I am really excited to watch him play.
I am too. I am very, very excited. And it's basically time. It's basically game week. Like the team is
We did
prepping for Portland
it!
State as we talk. We have made it to college football season, everybody. Week 0 is here. Week 1 is just days away, especially because it starts on Thursday. We'll get into all that next week. Um, Jessa, it is week 0. How are we feeling? We finally made it through the longest offseason in all of sports.
I feel like the sun is shining, the tank is clean. Like, we did it! We survived summer. Summer is so hard. I
Oh
hate the
my
summer.
gosh.
And people think I'm crazy for saying that. I hate the summer so much because
I'm
there's
100%
no
with you.
sports.
There's nothing absolutely devoid of happiness. And you know the next thing is college football, but it's like we got a whole college football season before we can get to college football season. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
But
I'm ecstatic. Let's talk about it.
yes, we made it. We made it. Okay, let's just dive right into what a usual week in the season is going to look like because we will come to you during the regular season. I'm still going to make my weekend watch guides. I have one for week 0. It's going to go out at the same time as this podcast, which is probably going to be Friday morning. I don't know, just whenever we have time. Um, and we're going to preview our favorite games. We're going to do some picks. We're also in depth going to preview the BYU game, obviously. And let's do just a little bit of that today. I mean, we only have what 5 games this week. It's not too crazy. Obviously, we have Iowa State and Kansas State in Dublin, Ireland. Uh, Whatever. I'm not good with accents, but uh, I watched Peaky Blinders, by the way. Maybe the best accent show of all time.
That's what I hear.
Side note, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely
the name
incredible.
itself, like saying
Peaky
that.
Blinders.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
That's an accent show for sure.
Yeah, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Anyway, so then we got that one at noon, 10 a.m. for all the mountain people. And then we got Idaho State at UNLV, which is going to be on the Mountain West Network. FCS game, not like incredibly interesting. UNLV is an interesting team, but they have a good game next week that we'll talk about later. Fresno State at Kansas. That one's interesting. That'll be 4:30 Mountain on Fox, and then you get Sam Houston, Western Kentucky, and then Stanford going to Hawaii in the nightcap, which is only at 5:30 Mountain Time. Hawaii is favored in that game against Stanford. That one's going to be on CBS. That's going to be a really good game. Jessa, which of these games stands out as like your favorite, like the one that you're going to be locked in to watch?
Well, obviously, I think Iowa State and Kansas State is it's obviously the game of the week, right?
For sure.
It's 17 number 17 ranked in the AP poll or not, yeah, the AP poll versus number 22. Um, and those two teams are in very similar standings, I would say, in the Big 12. So I think
Mhm.
this game comes down to a field goal. Um, and I hope that it is an offensive, like, shootout. Because you've
Yes.
got, I mean, I have a couple players to watch in this game that
Yes.
I'll go through really fast. I have one on offense and one on defense. I want
I
to
want to hear it.
see, this is what I'll be watching for when I watch this game. Avery Johnson. This will be his sophomore year now, right? His second year as a starter. I
Yep.
want to see if he lives up to the hype this year because there was a lot of hype last year, and I think he underperformed. And I think he would tell you that.
100%.
Like he did
100%.
underperform, right? If you don't know who Avery Johnson is, look up a picture of him and then look up a picture of the daughter from Remember the Titans. The blonde one. And then you'll never be able to unsee it ever again. He's got these
Perfect.
beautiful golden locks. But I want to see him in this game specifically. I want to see him throw the ball. Um,
Mm.
I want to see him throw for 220, 250 plus. So I'll be watching um, Kansas State's game through the air. I think every time Avery Johnson touches the ball, I'll be intrigued to see what he does. Um,
Hmm.
and then on the other side, Carson Hansen for Iowa State. I think he's poised for a breakout year as well. this might be a little bit of a hot take. Obviously, there's not going to be a Scattaboo this year.
Right.
Carson Hansen shows glimpses of like
Okay.
shows glimpses of that downhill bruiser running back, but I think he's a little bit more shifty than
Okay.
Scattaboo is, so their games are a little
Yeah.
bit different. But I'll be watching number 26 for Iowa State and number 2, the quarterback for Kansas State. Um, and I think that game comes down to like a field goal. I really do.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean,
one. And then the other one is actually Western Kentucky and Sam Houston.
oh
Sam
yes.
Houston's coming off of a 9-3 yeyear. They've been at the FBS level since 2023, so this will be their fourth year, third year in
23, 24, 25,
the
third.
third
Yeah.
year, and in their second year they went 9-3, and then Western Kentucky I think is coming off of an 8-4 year season. So that game right there, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. I think that could be a really good G5 game. So
Yeah.
those are my two.
I mean, that's a great call. I mean, obviously the Farmageddon in Ireland is, I mean, it's a must watch. And like you were saying, I mean, they played rivalry week of last year, and Iowa State only won by a touchdown. And it was really close, and Avery Johnson did not really perform under pressure whatsoever. And
Nope.
so, yeah, Jessa's doing this because that's what kept BYU out of the championship game last year.
He pulled a Shadur. He like ran backwards 20 yards and then took
Oh,
a safety in the end zone when they were at like the 15-20 yard line.
it's
Dude
like,
just
how do you
like
even get
ran back
back
there.
that far?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And that was the game. So, stuff
Yep.
like that. Those are plays that a
Yep.
freshman makes. I want to see him take that sophomore leap this year.
Yeah, and I actually I was rewatching that game this week, and the first play of the game after the kickoff, very first play, what does Avery Johnson do? They run a speed option, and he pitches it like 4 yards behind his running back, who has to like spin, get a hand on it, and then it's a fumble, and they recover it. So first play of the game, Avery Johnson just gives Iowa State the ball on a free touchdown. So he needs to perform. Um, I think my favorite game. I mean, obviously they're all my favorite. It's like picking a favorite kid. You can't do that.
Yeah, we
Um,
got football.
Fresno State at Kansas, low-key very interesting. I think, I mean, you have Kurt Warner's kid playing quarterback for Fresno State,
You
EJ
do?
Warner. Yeah,
I didn't know he was Kurt Warner's kid. Okay, that's cool.
yes, Kurt Warner's kid. Um, EJ Warner, he's low-key a baller. He's a senior. They've got kind of like a little bit of a veteran team around him. Like, they're a little bit spicy. Not exactly like a Boise State level, but they're spicy. And then Kansas, like, if we remember correctly, Kansas would have stormed the field after a win like this just like 3 years ago. So, like, let's not forget that Kansas is not a world beater yet. And then obviously Stanford at Hawaii. I mean, A, because BYU plays Stanford in a couple of weeks, and B, Hawaii's a favorite. Do you remember the Hawaii UCLA game in week 0 last year that went down to the wire? Like,
Yes.
Hawaii loves to play just these wild, crazy, like late night games, and to be favored against Stanford and a team that BYU plays, like I'm just super interested. I think it's going to be a great opening weekend of college football.
Agreed. Agreed. The last thing I'll say about Kansas, Jalen Daniels is going on his sixth year as a starter. That's the quarterback. If you remember the pooch punting quarterback from last year. Um,
That screwed us.
and yeah, he really hasn't had a great season since 2022. Everything else has been somewhat average. So we'll see how he finishes off his college career as a sixth year
Yeah,
senior.
yeah, and I mean that team, low key, is kind of built around him. Like what was it last year? They lost like 5 in a row when he got injured, and then they rattled off a bunch of ranked wins at the end of the season. One of them being us, but like this is a team full of question marks. Like we want to think Kansas is above losing to Fresno State at home in week 0.
This is college football.
This
Anything
is
could
college
happen.
football. Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited for week 0. Again, the weekend watch guide that'll go out same time as this podcast. It'll be in the link down below this podcast. Um, yeah, it'll just be a nice little primer before we really get into things next week. Speaking of Jessa, to wrap us up here, I have something for everybody, for the world. It is the College Football Survival Guide. How to enjoy the greatest sport on earth, how to survive, how to make it through. Okay, so let me break down kind of what I'm gonna do. And Jessa, I want your thoughts on this too, okay? Because this was just me like just ranting at like 10:30 at night, and I was just like, oh, this would be fun. Da, 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 da. So I want your thoughts on all of this as well. Um, I have 5 tips for casual slash emerging fans who want to get more into college football. Like if you are just like, hey, college football's fun, but I want to get a little more into it, or maybe like my significant other is like super into it and I don't really know like how to really get into it. Maybe you're new to the call family, you're like, what the frick are they all talking about on Sports
Who
Analyst?
are
Why do I
these
have like
people? Do these people
yeah,
have lives or do they just talk about sports all day?
exactly.
That's
Why
up
do I
for
have
debate.
899 messages like on Saturday night?
Or on a
Um,
Tuesday in August. Like, what are they talking about? Believe me, we'll find something.
oh, yes, we will. Then I have 5 tips for diehards who want to get more out of college football. So you love the sport, you want more of it. I have 5 tips for how you can do that. And then at the end, I have just 10 universal rules of how to survive and just maximize your enjoyment of the college football season.
Love
Are
it.
you ready to
Let's.
get started?
Oh, I'm so ready for this. Let's get into it.
Okay, cool. Also, I ran out of water, so feel feel free to like jump in here and give me a break if I'm talking too much or you hear my voice start to falter, okay?
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna start with 5 tips for casuals, okay? And I'll do something so these are like on the screen so you can follow along. Obviously that'll be in post production. I don't have it up right now, but somehow that'll be on the screen for you. One, okay, you need to diversify your non-game content consumption. Okay, that's a long sentence with a lot of big words. Let me say it again. Diversify your non-game content consumption. Okay, so if you're a casual or an emerging fan, you want to get more into college football, you're probably going to be like looking at all the sports apps and kind of like exploring, like, hey, I want to follow this account and this, whatever, right? Don't just get locked in on one account or one like media source. And that includes us, right? If you really want to get into college football, you need to follow multiple, okay? College sports is the most biased, the most divisive like media landscape in the entire country, okay? In the entire world. Like yes, politics is bad, probably means a little bit more, but this is by far the most biased and like driving slanted media landscape in the world. And if you follow just one source, you are going to be force fed a certain narrative, like Alabama deserves to be in the playoff over Florida State, even though Florida State won more games. But you would never know that if you just watched ESPN, right? Or like the fact that BYU blew out Colorado in the bowl game. If you were just following ESPN, you would have thought Colorado blew out BYU in the bowl game. Okay? So you need to diversify your college football non game content consumption.
So, are you talking like? So, you obviously we have ESPN, who is the mother of all evil. I'm just kidding. They do have you, yeah, but they
They
can be
do a
very
job.
biased, right?
They do a job.
Yeah, they
Yes.
do a job. And yeah, okay, so you're talking like go to CBS, go to Fox, like go to all these different things, and then social media wise, just follow a bunch of different sources. Okay, I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, yes, this goes off of the media you consume, like on your phone. Like I'm talking social media, Instagram, Twitter, right? Don't just follow like CFB Kings or whatever, right? Follow a bunch of college football accounts because then not only will you get highlights from all across the college football landscape, you also get all the memes from across the college football landscape. There's not going to be a story that you miss if you have a very diverse, wide net. You're going to get a very holistic view of the sport, which is very helpful.
Yep, agreed. Okay, cool.
My second one is actually number 3 right now, but I'm going to order it to number 2 because it makes more sense to go here. Take everything with a grain of salt, okay? Good teams aren't always good. The best games aren't always the best, okay? And this goes for us too, and my weekend watch guides especially. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, this game looks like a banger. It may not end up being a banger. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt. If somebody's telling you a team is really good, don't just believe them and take it at face value. Everything you hear from a game perspective, from a larger storyline perspective, take everything with a grain of salt. And again, that's why we diversify, right? Our consumption of the sport. So then we have a good holistic view and we're not just taking everything at face value.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, develop
Um,
your own opinions, like experience the sport for yourself. Okay, cool.
I should just put that.
I
Develop your own
agree.
opinions.
No, that's why though. That's how you do it. Is
That it
you absorb it, but you're like, I'm gonna experiment this for myself. I'm gonna watch LSU versus South Carolina and see if game day really should be there. When really they should be at James Madison at Appalachian State, okay? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um, Again, this leads into point number three. For all of our emerging casual fans, don't be afraid to change the channel. Okay, if the game of the weekend is Alabama Georgia or Georgia Texas, don't be afraid to change the channel if that game is boring. Like, let's be honest, the Georgia Texas game at Texas this year, supposed to be like game of the century kind of thing, wasn't that good. It was like a 2-3 score game most of the second half. Not really a ton of exciting plays. Like the most exciting thing happened was when they threw the water bottles on the field. And let's be honest, you could have
Yeah.
that was all over social media, okay? So go watch a game that is have your scores app open, and if it's like, hey, Western Kentucky and Bowling Green are in a 1 point game with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, ditch whatever the game of the week on ABC is and go watch that game. I promise you, you'll have more fun and you'll learn more about the sport than just watching the big game because you're supposed to.
Yeah, I like that one.
Number four, pick one or two or three underdogs to root for each week. College football is all about the underdog story, from App State upsetting Michigan to Florida State losing to like Georgia Tech. I mean, losing to everybody last year. Like, pick an underdog to root for. You can look at the spreads. You can pick a little brand going up against a big brand, but pick a couple of underdogs and like watch their game and like become invested in an underdog each week. And then when that does hit, you'll experience that like nirvana, like that cloud nine feeling of like, oh my gosh, Tennessee just beat Alabama or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Like that's one of the best feelings in college football. And so do it every week, and eventually you're going to hit one, and it's going to be awesome.
Okay, the one thing I'll say about that is as I think about my journey into becoming falling in love with college football, that's a huge one for me because if you're rooting for the underdog and let's say it's a one score game, right? Whether that underdog is on defense or offense, every single play you're rooting for something to happen. Like
Yes.
if they're trailing and they're on defense, every single time the ball is snapped, you're thinking, "Oh, can we get a stop? Oh, could like how many yards are they gonna get?" Right? It's and college football is all about anticipation because there's only 20 minutes of real game time in a
Right.
4 hour game, right? So if you can find something that will increase the anticipation and that you're rooting for something play after play after play, then yeah, you're just gonna fall in love with it. And like you said, experience the high of actually seeing the little guys take down a big dog.
Right. There's nothing better than like watching an upset all the way from start to finish and rooting for the upset the whole time and then seeing it live. Like, it is truly one of the greatest feelings ever.
Yes, agreed.
um, and this leads into my final point for all you casual emerging fans: ride the roller coaster. Again, rooting for the underdog, like Jess was saying, like it's a gateway drug. It in a good way. It it invites you to become emotionally invested. Like the whole point of college football is that it's a giant roller coaster. Like if you want something super even keel, like we have the NFL right here. Okay, I work in the NFL. I can tell you the roller coaster of college football is unmatched. Okay, it is all about passion and that just emotional investment. Don't be afraid to ride that roller coaster, whether that's the roller coaster of the day, the roller coaster of the game, or the roller coaster of the season. Maybe you're like, hey, I really like Western Kentucky because I got the blobs, right? Like McKinley loves the Western Kentucky because of their funny mascot. And so we watch Western Kentucky games. So just ride the roller coaster of a team, of a season, of a game, and I promise you'll find a lot of enjoyment in that.
Yep. And I'm thinking of this other one that comes to mind is like learn about the stories of the players too. The
Yeah,
players are what make college football great. There's new characters and new breakout stars like every season. And there's intriguing storylines and comeback stories, right? And so the more you can get to know the players, I think the more engaging the sport becomes as well.
100%. I love that one. I mean, like, take Diego Pavia, for example, at Vanderbilt.
Great
Like,
example.
right? Just all of a sudden, this crazy hothead playing for this absolutely terrible team takes down Alabama. You have the underdog factor, you got the roller coaster factor, and then you get this guy that's just like elated and just cussing on national TV at the end of the game, and you're like, I love this guy, and then you root for him all the season long.
Yep,
So those are
totally.
my tips for casuals or emerging fans that you want to get more into the sport. Diversify your non-game content consumption. Take everything with a grain of salt. Don't be afraid to change the channel. Pick a couple underdogs to root for each week and ride the roller coaster. And then, Jessa, I loved yours. Get to know the players, get to know the storylines. That's going to help you figure out what the roller coaster looks like and how to ride it.
Yep, love it. Should we take an ad break before we go to your tips for diehards?
Yes, yes,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
Okay.
All right, we're back. What a fantastic ad. One of these days, we're going to get actual ads.
Yeah,
We'll put
thank
them
you to
in
our
here.
sponsors. Wink, wink.
Yeah. All right. So those were the 5 tips for casual and emerging fans. Now let's go into 5 tips for diehards that want to get more out of the game. Okay?
This is you're speaking to most people on sports analysts now. This is
Yes.
the 90%. Woohoo!
Yes. All right. Number one. Okay. This is something that I did all last year. Okay. Sync up Greg Wrubell with the TV copy. Okay. Now, as someone who works in the media, like the sports media landscape, I hate it when people don't do their jobs well. So I can't stand when there are the commentators calling BYU games that don't even know or care how to pronounce Kalani's name. Like, I cannot stand when people are either uneducated about my team or just in general and they do a bad job. That is the number one thing that sets me off is bad commentary. So, what I would do each year last year, get my phone. There's a BYU radio app. Okay, it's free. It's available to everybody wherever you are. Look, it's right here. Never mind. Zoom is going to knock it out for some reason. There we
I
go.
see it.
BYU
Yep.
radio right there. You get the app. Okay, every game day they're live like 3 hours before the game and 3 hours after the game. It's perfect for the pregame and postgame, right? But you click it. Since it's on an app, you can also pause and resume it, right? And so click pause on that or on the TV if you have like, I mean, most people use like YouTube TV or something similar where you can pause the game, sync it up. Greg does an amazing job. Yes, we love his gooberness and his like jinxes that he throws at us all the time. It is truly a different way to watch the game. If you sync it up, just listen to Greg. He has so much more in-depth analysis. He actually knows both teams. He knows BYU's team. He's not like overly biased towards BYU, but he's talking to BYU fans. So like all the commentary, injury updates, it's so much more like just holistic about BYU. So highly, highly recommend doing that. I did it every single game last year. Absolutely loved it.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna try that. I haven't tried it yet. So consider that invitation accepted. And he's got Hans on there too, with color commentary too. What do you think of him? Does he do an okay job?
I like Riley Nelson better,
Okay.
but Hans really knows his stuff, but he's just kind of like in the best way, he's kind of a buffoon sometimes. Like in a very loving way, right? Riley Nelson was very like to the point, he was very passionate, he was very like driven. Hans is kind of like the happy bumble, which is it's not bad, but it's just like not my style. But he's fine. But
Better than ESPN.
right, it's 1,000 times better than freaking Rod Gilmore, who doesn't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So anyway, 100% would 1,000% recommend that. You'll get way more out of watching a BYU game than you would watching with some person who just barely realized that you didn't have to be Mormon to go to BYU or something.
Yeah.
Um, Next, watch G5 football. Okay, now I know a lot of the diehards and sports analysts like we do this, right? A lot of people do this. This is for people who love college football, okay, is G5 football. If you think everybody is just playing for money, they're playing to get their NIL deals, okay, go turn on Central Michigan at San Jose State next Friday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, okay? I promise you none of those guys have an NIL deal worth more than like $50 at the local Burger King, okay? This is like football at its purest. You're not going to get the NFL level of like execution, and you're not going to get but you also don't get like all I care about is my paycheck, right? Not saying that that's everybody, but these guys are purely playing because they love competition and they love football. It makes for very exciting games, very passionate games, and let's be honest, very insanely crazy games. Like you'll never see a like triple punt fumble that's returned for a touchdown and dropped at the one and then returned the other way. Like this is the kind of stuff that happens on a Tuesday night in November, okay? The more you watch G5 football, the more you will come to love the actual sport of college football and not just hand the ball off, make your blocks, go for 4 yards, get a first down, move the ball, punt, field position, right? These guys are just balling the frick out with just absolute, complete, and utter reckless abandon, and it is amazing to watch.
Okay, I have long held this opinion or this take. I don't think it's hot, but it goes along with what you're saying. So football as a sport is a ton of fun, right? But there are
100%.
levels, there are levels of funness and entertainment as you go throughout the tiers of football. You just talked about the NFL. The NFL, these are professionals, right? So the crazy like butt fumble, just entertaining plays that you like don't happen very often because these
No.
guys are getting paid millions of dollars, right? And so they're
Yeah.
good at football. So like you said, they're going to execute. It's going to be a pretty clean game most of the time. And then you come to like Power 5 football and it's more fun because these are still college kids. But the
Right.
execution is still at a pretty high level. And so sometimes you don't get those crazy plays. G5 Maction football is, I would argue, if you just strip away all the storylines and just look at the football, the sport, is the most fun. Because, like you said,
Thousand
a
percent.
guy will fumble, and instead of being disciplined and falling on the football, the other guy will try to pick it up, and then it'll get punched out. And then the other guy will try to pick it up and pitch it to the player next to him because that they just playing their backyard football. They're not getting paid. They couldn't go D1. So yeah, 100% agree that G5 Maction on a Tuesday, Wednesday night is the funnest brand of football because anything could happen.
1,000%. One, I could not agree more. It is the funnest football you will ever watch. It
So good.
is, like you said, there's the NFL, there's high level like Power 5 football, and there's G5 football, and then there's high school level football. High school level is like a little bit too crazy where it's like nothing's actually happening.
Yeah.
G5 is where, no, these kids are competent. They know what they're doing. It's just absolute chaos. Like the lights are going to go out at halftime, and then you're going to play the second quarter with the third quarter because the snow knocked the scoreboard out or something. Like it is purely the most fun football. So please watch G5 football. I'm not saying that you have to like not watch Ohio State Penn State and watch like Sam Houston Liberty instead, but like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday mornings, Saturday nights, Mountain West after dark is absolutely bonkers. You remember the JMU Utah State game that was like 48-51?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
So good. So good.
So,
I think UConn won a game on a blocked punt or a blocked field goal and they returned it
yes.
for a touchdown last year. Like you
Yeah.
just don't see that very much at these higher levels of football. So, a lot of fun.
Yeah, 100%. It's a ton of fun. So sync up with Gregor Bell. Watch G5 football. Number three, trust your eyes, not social media. Again, we're all diehards here. We have our sources where we get our information. Do not fall in the trap of just lulling yourself to sleep with the media that you consume. If you're watching a game and like for example, South Carolina last year, they were a fun team. What happened whenever they played a good team? They lost. Like the only good team that they beat was Clemson, and it's because Clemson was we won't get into Clemson that last year. Um,
They were chokers.
exactly. South Carolina like was talked about being this playoff team, like they're on the bubble. But like what happened whenever they played good teams? They choked, they fumbled the football, they threw lots of interceptions. Lenore Sellers took a bunch of sacks. Like trust your eyes, not the media. And not social media either. Like and Instagram is so bad about this. Like I'm not on Instagram anymore, partially because of this. Like just overhyping somebody, like especially the Sanders cult just overhyping them. You fall into this like haze of like, well, everybody's talking about them, so they must be good. That's not true. That's trust what you see on Saturdays. Don't trust the media.
Yeah. I feel like the more you consume college football content, the better your BS meter becomes,
Yes,
too. So develop a good BS meter for
I
sure.
love that. I love that one. Um, Number four, Jessa alluded to this earlier.
I like
Don't
this
watch
one.
the ball when you watch football. So obviously the first thing that you're going to do when you turn on a football game, the ball snapped, you're going to look at the quarterback, and then he's going to throw the ball, and you're going to follow the ball to the receiver, and you're going to see what happens. Don't watch the ball if you want to get more out of college football. Watch the trenches. Okay, the trenches are so fun to watch when you actually like sit down and you're like, okay, this play, I'm not going to watch the quarterback, I'm not going to watch the ball, I'm just going to watch the trenches. You see these guys just boom, just mashing. It tells you a lot about who, like, how the play is going to go, which team has better players, like the way that a defensive and offensive line happen on run plays, pass plays. It completely changes the way that you view the sport. I mean, I'm sure you've had this, like you were saying earlier, like your favorite thing is to watch the trenches. Like it totally changes everything.
Yeah. And specifically this year for BYU, speaking of the trenches, as I'm watching the trenches, watch number 75, Andrew Gentry. I hear he's the right tackle.
Okay.
I hear he is dominating. And our defensive line, I've heard some really good things about our defensive line. So, yeah, I think for BYU specifically, watch number 75. But yeah, I think you learn a lot. I didn't know how like what offensive line even did and how they have their assignments that they've got to go
Yeah.
pursue guys, and I just think it's a really interesting piece of the chess game. So yeah, I agree. Watch the trenches, look for who misses their assignment, who really
Yes.
executes their assignment, right? That is fascinating.
Yep. And it's awesome when you see a sack coming and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy just toasted the tackle, and then you get the sack. It completely changes. It's very, very fun.
Yep.
I also like to watch, like, because I play the college football 26 games, I love to watch like route concepts and passing concepts, right? So I always love to watch the receivers too. Like if we're near the 50 and you can kind of see most of the screen or something, right? You can see most of the field. I love to watch one side of the field and watch, hey, what are the route combos? What are the route trees on that side of the field? Are they running like a stick route? Like, oh, I know that one, right? Or you see two slot guys coming in, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a mesh concept, right? It's fun to see, hey, these receivers are doing this. The defense is playing zone versus man. Um, you watch the line, you can immediately tell is it going to be a pass play or a run play. You watch the defense, you can tell if it's going to be zone or man. It teaches you a lot more about football if you don't watch the football.
Yeah, and I think also with speaking of the chess game, you can kind of take a more opinionated approach to the strategy if you do that, right?
100%.
You can point out maybe what the coaches are seeing of saying, hey, this is working, this is not working. If you watch things other than the ball, if you just watch the ball, I don't know that you necessarily can develop that sense of like,
Uh,
hey, what are we even trying? If you just watch the ball, you don't even know what we're trying or who's
right?
getting open or who's not, yeah. So that's a good one.
Yeah. It will completely change the way you watch the game. So I'd highly recommend that. Number five, the final one for diehards trying to get more out of college football. Invest emotionally in at least one game per window. So obviously you have like the noon window, the 3:30. This is Eastern, right? 2 hours back from Mountain. But like you have the noon games, 3:30 games, 7:30 games, and then the late games. Choose a game each window that you want to invest emotionally in, because when you're invested in a game, you inherently get more out of the game. If you're just like if you just have college football on and you're just watching, like that's great, and it's kind of fun just to like bounce around and see like, oh, where's an exciting play? Like, oh, there's one up here that's exciting, and then there's one over here, and you kind of have like four games going on, but you're not really watching any of them. You're just kind of like consuming the chaos, which is very fun. Don't get me wrong. That's a great way to do it. Um, Also, Moose got my body armor
Oh,
bottle back here.
nice.
So if you can hear that, that's him
I
chewing on
can't, but
my
I'm
bottle.
imagining it now. I'm
Good,
sure he's
good.
having a great time.
It's very loud for me, but I'm glad nobody else can hear it. But if you invest emotionally, like say you have like Red River and then LSU Florida and then Kansas State BYU or whatever, like you have all these different games. Choose a game like say Red River and invest emotionally in it. Be like, hey, I really want this team to win because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's SEC versus Big 12, like Auburn Baylor, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really, really want Baylor to win. If you invest emotionally in it, you're going to learn more about the team, you're going to learn more about their opponent, and you're going to learn more about the sport of college football because you're paying attention to the actual game instead of just like waiting for a score or an interesting play. It's like watching Red Zone versus watching an actual NFL game. If you just watch Red Zone, all you're really going to know is like what happened. But if you're investing in a game emotionally, you're going to know why, you're going to know who, you're going to know when, you're going to know the how, and that's going to teach you more about the sport of college football.
And again, going back to like you, if you invest emotionally, then you have something to look forward to and something to root for in every single play. Whereas sometimes if I'm just watching casually, I'll just be like, I just want whoever's down to make a comeback, right?
Right.
And so then, right? But I think, so you said invest emotionally just by developing an opinion about the game and like
Yeah.
wanting an outcome. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, for example, like, and I do this all the time, obviously because I am emotionally invested in everything. Like for example, we have let's look at like the 3:30 window of next week, okay? We have South Dakota, Iowa State, Nevada, Penn State, Marshall, Georgia, Temple, UMass, Alabama, Florida State, Montana State, Oregon, Illinois State, Oklahoma. So like these are a bunch of games that are kind of like nothing really jumps off the page there, right? Like you don't see Old Dominion, Indiana and think like, "Oh, I'm going to lock in on this game." But like for example, I'm going to go to Iowa State and I'm going to look at South Dakota at Iowa State. South Dakota is a good FCS school. There's Iowa State. We play Iowa State. Iowa State just played Kansas State. I'm going to invest emotionally in South Dakota because I want to see if Iowa State can handle coming off of Farmageddon and playing 1 week later back in the United States. We have to play, like, I'm going to invest emotionally in that game. Maybe it's Alabama, Florida State, and I'm going to invest in Florida State. Choose one game that you are just going to, for one reason or the other, whether it's bias against somebody or for somebody, choose a game that might mean something and make it mean something to you, and you're going to learn. It's going to be a more enjoyable experience than just sitting back and watching and hoping something happens.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Again, I'm accepting that challenge. I think
Good.
that's awesome.
So just to recap for the diehards, sync up with Gregor Bell, watch G5 football, trust your eyes, not the media or social media, don't watch the ball, and invest emotionally in at least one game per window. We doing okay here, Jessa? I know I'm like talking a lot.
Oh, we're
This
doing
is
great. We're doing
okay.
great. This is getting me hyped. We're
Okay,
three
good.
days away from this.
Yeah.
Apply all these things we're learning. This is great. One
Yes.
day, by the time everybody else is like less than 24 hours away. This is
Yeah.
great. Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Okay.
Now we talk about survival, right?
Yes. So
An
these are the
important
10,
an important
yes,
component.
10 universal rules to survive the college football season. Okay? It's not a long season, but it can feel long at times. Okay? So number one, and this is something that is very dear to my heart, is it is okay to be emotionally invested in a team or in a sport or both. Don't listen to everybody that's saying like you're way too into this, you are spending way too much energy and emotional energy, you're way too emotionally invested. It is okay to be emotionally invested, everybody, okay? Sports fans are villainized all the time for caring about sports. People will try and make you feel dumb. They'll be very condescending and be like, it's just a bunch of kids throwing around a ball. It's okay to care. The whole point of being on the earth is to experience, is to learn and grow and experience different feelings. This is one of those things that is just it connects you to something bigger than yourself. This unbridled just passion and connection to others. So don't feel like you need to handicap that in any way. It is okay to emotionally invest in your team, in your rival, and in the sport as a whole. It is okay. Do not feel any shame for caring about your team or college football.
Amen. Amen. Because also, it's about more than college football, 99.9% of the time. It's about real stories coming to life in something like college football. It's about the connections you make along the way. Like, just love what you love. And if it's
Yes,
college football, which it is, if you're listening to this, then yeah, invest in it. There are worse things.
there are many worse things. I just finished Breaking Bad, so college football is high on the list of good things that you can
Yeah.
care about.
Yep. Yep. Love it.
Um, Number two goes alongside this. Take care of yourself, okay? Constantly take inventory of your mental, emotional, and physical well being, okay? It is okay to care. It is okay to be very passionate. But if it is impacting your mental health, it is okay to step away as well. Okay, everyone? It is like, for example, okay, just because you're emotionally invested doesn't mean that everyone else is. And you have to be aware and conscientious of them, okay? I remember me and McKinley got married like 2 weeks before college football started. The first college football Saturday, I woke up at 7 a.m., pulled out my phone, and started playing college game day in bed next to her. And she rolls over and goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, right. I don't live alone anymore." McKinley does not have that just weekly tradition of waking up at 7 a.m. and just blasting college game day in bed on a phone. So what did I do? I got up, I put my headphones in, and I watched it in the other room. So it's okay to be emotionally invested, but also there are other people that you live with, okay? If you need to, it's okay to walk to JCW's on your own with no car. It's okay to go see Conclave instead of watching a game or going to bed at halftime, okay? These are all okay. You need to take care of yourself.
Yep. Yep. Amen. No notes, actually. No notes. Also, if you work a 9 to 5, probably get at least 4 hours of work in instead of building college football analysis spreadsheets and scrolling Twitter for more college football content. Nobody in specific who I'm talking to when I say that. Balance is good. Balance
Yes.
is good.
Amen. Amen. Just for those out here there that may feel in a similar path to that.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. It's all
Yeah.
right. We all struggle with it. And also, if you stay balanced, then when it's time for college football, you can be all in with no guilt and no shirking responsibilities. But
Yep.
be all in when you're there. Be all in, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that's
great.
totally okay. It's totally okay to be all in. And it's totally okay to also take a break if you need it, okay?
Yep. Turn the
We are
game off.
we I have done this before, okay? I may or may not still have never seen the second half of the Utah game from last year. It's okay to take a break, okay? Also, like Loki, you're not that powerful. You not watching the game is not going to mean your team wins or loses, okay?
Yes.
We talk about jinxes. You are not that powerful, okay? So it's okay.
Yep. I agree. Still have not watched the Arizona State game from last year. And I don't want to because I know it'll cause me emotional pain. Know your
Right?
limits. It's okay. It
Exactly.
is okay.
It's okay to be invested and also just take a week off. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to watch that game.
Yep.
Um, Jessa said something very interesting that's going to lead us into our next points, okay? About this next point is just prepping for the weekend, okay? This is huge. This is part of the survival, okay? Let's take like November 1st or whatever of this year, okay? You know you're going to have like Ohio State, Penn State, okay? Like I'm going to try and pull it up, but it's going to be a long time before I pull it up. Oh no. Look at that. First try. Pulled it up, okay?
Nice.
We got Oklahoma, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Miami, SMU, Texas Tech, Kansas State, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Arizona State, Iowa State, Penn State, Ohio State. Like, I just listed probably 8 games that are a 10 out of 10 banger, right? All of those
Yeah.
games are amazing, okay? In the week leading up to that, you need to be doing your chores. You need to get all your work stuff done. You need to take your significant other, if you have one, you need to take them out. You need to let them know, hey, I'm booked from 10 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. Okay? We are doing this. You can come if you want, but just so you know, this is what we're doing. So if we want to go out on Friday night, let's do that. Uh, you need to prep for the weekend. You don't want to be, believe me, okay? 2021 Texas, Alabama, that came down to like the final play with Bryce Young, whatever. I was at the store because I did not plan my weekend and I had errands to run. So I missed like a large portion of that and that sucked. Okay. So run your errands, plan your chores, get your meal prepped, know your plan going into the weekend. Hey, I have all my responsibilities counted for. I am free to enjoy football without having something hanging over my head. If you're in school, do your homework. Okay, I know everyone hates doing homework during the week. Save it for the weekend, right? And then you just do it at like 11:30 before the 11:59 deadline. Do it before the game start. I promise you, you'll enjoy it so much more with nothing hanging over your head.
Yep. And I would add mentally prepare as well if you do have things on Saturday. Like if you do have things on Saturday, I will literally go into my calendar. We just talked about this before the podcast. I have a wedding on Saturday. Like I'm going to be in the temple from 1 to 4, so I'm going to miss the second half of Iowa State, Kansas State. I know myself. That is something I have to mentally prepare for so that I can say, okay, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm going to miss the second half of this game. And that's a little bit sad, but also at the same time, like I want to be present where I am. So I
Yeah.
have to plan out my Saturday and be like, this is when I will be able to watch games, and I'm okay missing the game at other times. But literally I have to consciously look at my calendar and say, it's okay. I'm going to be fine catching a half here and a half there. Like
Yep.
it is what it is, but it does take conscious effort.
Exactly. And you can't just roll into the weekend and then let it rip. Plan ahead, right? And that leads into our next point. One, prep for the weekend. Second point of that like bubble is plan out your Saturday specifically, right? Like Jessa was just saying, look at what you have to do that day. Like, what games do you want to watch? Which games are you going to be able to watch? When does your team play? If you have multiple teams, like when does Ohio State play? When does BYU play? How does that work? If I need to run errands, can I run it in between? Do I have to do it before? Do I have to do it after? Should I do it just before Saturday in general? Um, d- Find when you're going to walk the dog, right? Or like play with your kid. Like you need to plan these things by looking at the slate. My weekend watch guides are supposed to help with this. Obviously, I don't nail every good game, but it should help you kind of plan your Saturday. This also goes into having an emergency backup plan, okay? What if your Wi-Fi goes out, okay? Plan your Saturday. Say, hey, if my Wi-Fi goes out, this is the restaurant I'm going to. This is the phone that I'm going to watch my games on. Uh, if something happens and I can't watch the game, I'm going to be in the car, whatever. Okay, I have the BOU app downloaded so that I can listen to the radio, right? And then also like we had this problem in our family last year. It was a complete mess for many reasons. Know how many people are going to be watching YouTube TV at the same time.
On the
If
same
you have
account.
if you have a family plan with the same account, YouTube TV does not like it when you're in different places trying to watch it. So make sure you have all that accounted for so that you know when Saturday comes, BYU Arizona doesn't kick off and no one can watch the game. Okay, not saying that happened to anybody, but if it did, that would be horrible and a huge mess. And somebody would probably just quit the family group and buy their own YouTube TV because that had to happen. Okay.
Consequences. It's the consequences of not doing this. Do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then lastly, what are you going to do if your team sucks ass that day? Like, play it, plan a backup plan. If, like Kevin, went and saw Conclave instead of watching the Holy War, right? Plan out what you're going to do in case of emergency.
And I would add to what if you're like, what if they suck for the day? What if they suck for the season too? Um, I would say choose another team to emotionally invest in.
I love that.
In 2017, need I remind anybody, we went 3-9 that year. Um, Christian McCaffrey and Trevon Boykin, maybe it was 2016, it might have been 2016, got me through that year because I decided to invest in Stanford and invest in TCU, two middle of the pack teams who I thought were exciting to watch and had an outside shot to do something great. Invest in other teams, please. Please have a backup plan for BYU, whatever it
I,
is.
I
And Ohio
absolutely
State.
love that.
Like, you might need a third team. I
Let
don't
me
know.
tell you, I did have to have one last year. Okay.
Yep.
So have a backup plan.
Yep.
Okay. Number five, have a productive morning. Okay, so we all know Mountain Time Zone games start at 10 a.m. Here on the East Coast, it is absolutely brutal. Games don't start till noon. It's like 5 hours of my day that I don't know what to do with. So be productive. Okay, that's when you run your errands. That's when you like go get breakfast or prepare breakfast or meal prep for dinner or whatever. Take the dog out. Like get everything done before the games start. Don't just wake up at like 9:30, flip on College Game Day, and then watch all the games. Get up at 7. Put an AirPod in. Like if you want to listen to College Game Day, like that's totally up to you. I'm not going to think less of you for it. Maybe I will, but hopefully not. Do it with like an AirPod in your with your phone rather than like sitting and actually watching it. That way you can be productive, you can feel better about yourself while you're watching college football. It takes that load off your shoulders again. And it decreases the chance that you need to run errands during like the fourth quarter of, Kansas State, Texas Tech, and it's a one score game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, totally agree. Go to the gym, like, like outside of college football, sitting for like 8 hours at a time, not good for you. I don't care what you're doing. Even if your heart rate is up because of whatever you're watching, which it probably will be. Nah, get up and move, be productive, so then you can mentally enjoy it more. That's a great one.
Yep. Um, Part of my personal when I was living in Provo, part of my like morning routine is I would get up, do laundry while I was listening to College Game Day, and then I would go to All Red's Orchards, which is like a farmer's market-ish place, and get apple juice and Honeycrisp apples. And that was like my morning routine. And so I'd get like the groceries for the day, pick up some of these like fun little snacks for the day, and then get laundry done. So do something like that, have a productive morning.
Can I tell you just how magical it is? Saturdays, oh man, I don't care what you do, but waking up and being
Oh,
like, this is my college football Saturday. I have my routine, like you said.
yep.
It's just magical. I'm
The
so
crisp
excited.
air. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
So
It's
amazing.
beautiful.
Okay.
Um, I know we've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to fly through the rest of these. I promise this is worth it. Okay, keep listening, everyone. Um, be efficient during commercials, half times, and other game breaks. Okay, don't sit around like on your phone. Like that's fine. You can do that, but just make sure that you're using the bathroom, you're taking the dog out, you're kissing your significant other, you're refilling beverages and snack bowls. Be efficient with your timeouts. Like you don't have to watch the commercials. ESPN will try and make you watch the commercials. You don't have to. There's more commercials than ever in college football right now, so take advantage of them. Go outside, touch grass, go throw a football around outside. Whatever you need to do, do a couple push-ups, scream into a pillow. Take advantage of the timeouts and game breaks.
Love it.
Very
Dig it.
important. Number seven, never write off a boring weekend. Ever, ever, ever do not write off a boring weekend. The most fun, and this goes for every single year that I've ever watched college football. There's always going to be like 2 weeks a year when game day goes to like an FCS team or like 5-6 Florida versus like 4-7 Louisiana or like LSU or something. Never write off a boring weekend because they are always the most fun weekends. Always. There is crazy crap that happens every college football weekend, and it means more when it's on a weekend that everybody else says it's going to be boring.
Yes. There will be a game or two this year that everybody writes off, like Montana State at Oregon week 1, where everybody's like, I'm not gonna watch that. That ends up being a historical upset. There just will be a game like that this year. And you never know when it'll happen. So I like
Right?
that.
Yeah, never write off a boring weekend. Number eight is KYR, okay? Stands for two things. One, kill your roommate, and two, know your remote. Okay? How sturdy is your remote? Can you safely throw it at a couch cushion? Or is it gonna break it? Okay? Do you need to wrap it in bubble wrap? Okay? If you sit on it, is it magically gonna change the channel to like Hulu or something? Like you need to know what your remote is. What's the losability coefficient? Is this like an Apple TV remote that's going to slide between the cushions? Does it need its separate end table? What color is it? Like we need to know these things going into a college football game because you're going to have to change the channel. You're going to have to turn the volume up or turn the volume down, or maybe just mute the TV if the coordinators or the commentators being annoying. You need to know these things, okay? I know firsthand remotes are usually the first things to be thrown, so make sure it's sturdy. Make sure you know what to throw it at. Know your surround, like just know your remote, okay?
Okay, were you gonna talk about the roommate thing or no?
I was just gonna leave it, but if if your roommate doesn't like college football, kill him.
Time to get a new roommate. Don't know what to
Yep,
tell you. Here's
we're
what it
watching
is.
college football today, buddy. Um, Speaking of number nine, have a good watching, buddy. As someone who spent the entire football season alone last year, college football is so much better when you have somebody to watch it with, whether that's like in person, right? Obviously, I love watch parties. I do them all the time, probably more than needs to be done, but also like sports analysts. Like, I was texting sports analysts probably like every other play last year. And it's because college football is meant to be enjoyed with your family, with your friends, with your buddies. So have a good watching buddy. Find somebody to watch the game with or to text the game about, right?
Yep.
Have some sort of connection because it's just going to make it that much more fun.
Yeah, don't go venting on Twitter, okay? We all need to vent. Twitter is not the place to do it. Text yourself if you need to get thoughts out. But you don't have to because we have sports analysts.
Yep.
That's a good one.
And I'm here. If you have a take that you think is too fiery for sports analysts for whatever reason, I will hand up, just send it to me, okay? And then I'll send it with my name attached to it to sports analysts. So,
Great, because
um,
we're not going to be surprised hearing anything from you.
exactly.
Great.
Um, yes, utilize sports analysts. It is the perfect venting place for everyone. And last but not least, number 10, watch as much football as possible. We only have 3 months of college football, okay? Give or take like a week or two. This is the shortest sports season in all of sports, and it has the longest offseason. We just went through 3 blocks of college football seasons of offseason, if that makes sense. Like, you could fit 3 college football seasons in the college football offseason. Like, it is crazy. No other sport has an offseason even close to as long as this. The NFL goes like 3 months longer than college football, and it starts earlier with training camp. So watch every second of football that you can, whether it's a Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're going to have Sunday and Monday games on Labor Day weekend. I don't care who it is. It could be frickin' Bo Diddley State versus Austin P. Enjoy and savor every last drop of football that you can consume because it will be gone as just faster than you can blink. It's going to be championship weekend, and then bowls are going to go by in the flash of an eye, and we're going to be stuck in. It's going to be January, and there's going to be nothing for 9 months.
But for these 3 months, it'll be glorious.
Yep.
It'll be wonderful. I agree. As long as, like we said, do it wisely, but consume as much as you can. Yeah, I think that's a great way. That's a good number 10.
Yep. The perfect way to cap it off. Again, these will all be on the screen. I'm not going to go through all these again, but that has been your survival guide. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I know it was very long, and this episode is now very long, but I think it's worth it to get us all primed for next week when Jessa, we're gonna have like actual games to talk
We're
about.
gonna have
We'll have a
actual games
BYU
to
game
talk
to
about.
talk about. It's gonna be crazy.
Yes, and we will probably actually definitely be referencing some of these. And when we need to
Yes.
practice the self-control, and when we have remote stories, we will call them out, and now we all have context for them. Don't say you
Yep.
didn't know.
Yep.
We are now primed for a good college football season.
We are absolutely primed, and it is time, Jessa. This has been awesome. I'm excited for week 0. I mean, Jessa's wearing a freaking bear costume right now, so
Yep.
we,
Might
we are
sleep in it
freaking ready.
tonight. Who knows? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. That's what we know.
We made it. We made it. It's
We did
finally
it.
here. So excited.
Not gonna say it was easy, but we made
No, it was not easy. Can confirm, not easy, but we did
it.
it. All right, Jessa. This has been fun. We love everybody that listens slash watches. Yeah, check out the Weekend Watch Guide. We'll be back with you next week to preview a full weekend of college football. Let's go.
Yes. That's the thumbnail right there.
Yes. All righty. I will see you guys. Adios.